Hi, my name is Jason Filer, and I'm going to show you some code I made for the 21 Dice game. So this game is a simple game to play. It says the rules right here in my code. This is a program that will play the 21 Dice game. The game goes like this. There are 21 dice, and every turn, someone takes out anywhere from 1 to 3 dice, and they keep going until someone has to pick up the last die. So, yeah, that's very simple. And I made some code that lets you either play it against another player on the same computer, or against the computer. So I'll just run it quickly against the player and then against the computer. So it says, would you like to play against another player or the computer? 0 for player, I'll do 0. Name of player 1, I'll just put E. Player 2, I'll just put O. So it's randomizing. O goes first, E goes second. So every time someone picks a number, the next person goes. How many dice do you want to remove? Pick a number from 1 to 3. If you put a number bigger or smaller, it will be 3 or 1 respectively, and if you type anything other than integers, you'll have to restart the program. So, let's say, if I put in 10, it'll make it so that it takes away 3, and if I put in negative 78, it'll make it so that it takes away 1. And, okay, so, I'll just make it so this is O, so O takes away 3. Now they're 18, because it starts with 21. So, how many do I remove? E takes away 2. O takes away 2. E takes away 3. O takes away 3. E takes away 3. O takes away 3. Okay, so O just took one away, and it says whoever just picked a number loses. Congrats to the winner. That's because the next person that's going to go is going to pick 1, because that's the only option they have, and they're going to win. So, just to save them some time, whoever's playing, I just made it so that whoever just picked a number loses. Congrats to the winner. Would you like to play again? 0 for yes, anything else for no. So I don't really want to right now, so I'll just... Okay, have a nice day. So now I'm going to run it with playing against the computer. So, I'll just P. Randomizing. I go first, the computer goes second. Same rules, so I'll take away 3. The computer takes away 3. I'll take away 2. Computer takes away 3. I'll take away 1. Takes away 3. I'll take away 1. There are 5 left. Take away 1. I'll take away 3. And then there's 1 dice left, so the computer loses and I win. Congratulations, have a nice day. So yeah, that's my code. So I will now explain all this stuff right here. So the first thing is I have to import time, math, randint, and random. So the time is so that I can pause in between things. For example, in the randomizing, it took about a second before it and a second after, just to make it think, so to make the person think that the computer's trying to process it. So I made it so that it can sleep for 1 second. And I imported math so that it can like do all these math problems and stuff like that. And I imported randint because that's what helps me make the randomizing thing. I will show you that. And random also just kind of helps it make it a little easier. So I made it so that so the first thing is that it prints the rules of the game, then it makes play equals true, which will come into play later, and so I printed space, then CPU equals input, would you like to play against the player of the computer? So if you put in 0, then CPU will equal 0, if you put in anything else, then CPU will not equal 0. So if you play against a player, while play is true, that's because at the end, when I say, would you like to play again? If you say yes, then it'll say play equals true. So that means that it'll go through this again. But if you say no, then play will not be true. So then it won't go through this again. And it'll just go to the end. So here it asks you to input the names of player 1 and player 2 as the variables P1 and P2. So I just made it so that if they are the same thing, like if you put the same name for both of them, it just randomizes it and just becomes 2 words that I have in this long list of words or phrases or anything that the player names can be. So it just at random picks 2 names for the player 1 and player 2 to be. So I'll close that. So I have it so that it sleeps and then it randomizes and then sleeps again for 1 second each time. So what I did to randomize was that I made P1 num and P2 num, which are two variables I created. I made it so that each of them are chosen to be a random integer, which is randant, from 0 to 100. What this does is it just chooses one at random, and I made it so that I made a while loop, which is just that while something is true, then it'll repeat it, which is the same thing I did for the play. So I have while p1 num equals p2 num, which are these two things. Like if they happen to be the same number from 0 to 100, then it'll just do it again until they aren't, which is very unlikely in the first place. So I made it so that if p1 num is greater than p2 num, then player 1 goes first and player 2 goes second. And I put this without quotes because p1 is a variable which was chosen either here or here. So it's just basically if you put in, like, I did like E, right? If you put in E here, then it'll say E goes first and what did I put? O goes second. So let's see. So this one is just the other way around. Player 2 goes first and player 1 goes second, so that both players have a chance to go first or second. So after every time someone picks a number, the next person goes. So I made dice 1 and dice equal 21, which is basically how it starts. I made dice 0 equal the amount that they choose to take away, which is from 1 to 3. Or if they put a number bigger than 3 and smaller than 3, then it comes 3 and 1, or 3 or 1. So I have dice which equals 21 as shown up here. This dice right here, minus the amount that they chose to take away. And that's what dice 1 is now. So then it prints there are dice 1 dice left. So if dice 1 is 18, then it'll say there are 18 dice left. This one does pretty much the same thing. And I put this one on a loop that says that while dice 1 is greater than 3, it'll just do the same thing. Because it doesn't really matter. It can just keep going until it's 3 or less. Because when it's 3, you can only remove 1 or 2. So I have to have those as the only options. And so after that, if it becomes 2, it'll just say whoever just picked a number loses, congrats to the winner. And if it says 1, then it'll say there's 1 dice left to it, so whoever picked a number wins, congratulations. And then it'll end with the would you like to play again thing. So yeah, let's close that one. So that was all for if you're playing against another player. This one is if you're playing against the computer. So dice equals 21 again. Randomizing, just the same thing, except I made it so that if P1 num is greater than P2 num, then I go first and computer goes second, and the other one is that the computer goes first. So these two are both pretty much exactly the same, except the person who goes first is different, or the machine that goes first. So this one is also a little different from the player ones, because it's not just choose one, choose one, choose one. I wanted to make it so that the computer has a good chance of winning. Like, the computer knows how to play, and it'll do what it can to win the game. So, let's see. I did the same thing where how many dice you want to remove, it does if it's greater than 3, then it equals 3, and if it's less than 1, then it equals 1. Then dice 1 equals dice minus dice 0. So that's all the same from before. So while dice 1 is greater than 12, it does the same thing, but I make it so that the computer takes away 3. So it's not up to the person playing what the computer takes away, just the computer takes away 3 every time it's greater than 12. When it becomes equal to 12, equal to 9, or equal to 8, I made it take away 3. So this is all because the way to win is to make it so that the other player has either 9 left or 5 left. Or both. Because when you make it so that they have 5 left, if you think about this, no matter what they take away, you win. If they take away 3, and then you take away 1, there's 1 left. If they take away 2, and you take away 2, there's 1 left, and they lose. And if they take away 1, you take away 3, there's 1 left and they lose. So they lose no matter what. And if they're at 9, it's the same thing. They take away 3, you take away 1. They take away 2, you take away 2. They take away 1, you take away 3. Then there's 5. And then the same thing happens the next time. So you have to try to make the other person get 9. So while dice 1 equals 12 or 9 or 8, the computer takes away 3. Because the equals 12 will make it 9, equals 8 will make it 5. I put the equals 9 because if you have 9 and the other person knows how to play the game, you will lose. So it doesn't matter what you put. So I just made it so it takes away 3. So this one is, if it's 11 or 7, it takes away 2, because that'll make it 9 and 5, which is the goal. 10 and 6 will take away 1 and 1, because it makes it 9 and 5 again. So this is just individual numbers that I have here. If it's 8, then it should take away 3, so there's 5 left. And then, which means that they lose. If there's 7, they take away 2, which means that there's 5 left and they lose. 6, they take away 1. And if there's 5, then it makes it so that the computer takes away 1, because it doesn't matter what they take away, because they could be taking away 1, 2, or 3, but they lose anyway, as long as the other person knows how to play the game, as I explained before. And if it's 4, 3, or 2, they'll just take the computer will take the amount away that they need to make it so there's 1 left. So if it's 4, they take away 3, and you lose. Have a nice day, because that's the end of the game. If it equals 3, then the computer takes away 2, and you lose. Oops. If there's 2 left, then the computer takes away 1, you lose. And if there's 1 left, when it's the computer's turn, the computer loses and you win. Congratulations, have a nice day. So that's the only way out of like these last 4. The only way for it to lose is if it has 1 left. Because all the other ones, it'll make it so that the other person has the 1 left. So yeah, I think that's all the code that I have for my 21 dice game.